Well, understand that what I'm about to express is a personal opinion, a preference, not necessarily the God's truth, right? I mean, it's, there's nothing more personal. No, there's no personal computer more personal than the one in your pocket. So you should choose the phone that you like the best. And actually, if you listen a lot, you hear me recommend iPhone to a lot of people. Yesterday, I recommended a Windows phone. It really depends on your needs and so forth. I use Android and far prefer it because for a number of reasons. One, I think that Android has taken leaps and bounds ahead of the iPhone merely because there's so many different people using it and there's so many people working on it. It just has evolved much faster. Apple only releases one new iPhone a year. It just does not evolve very quickly. And I think there are things that the iPhone doesn't do that I demand. There are also things that are purely aesthetic. In fact, a lot of people who use aesthetic grounds say the iPhone's prettier, and I think that's probably not incorrect. You may, for aesthetic reasons, prefer the iPhone. I happen to like the back button. iPhones lack them. The iPhone has only one button, a home button. So if you're in an application, this happens to me all the time, and you go to settings in the application, very often the only way to get out of the settings is to go right back all the way out to the home and relaunch the application. Whereas on an Android phone, there's a back button. You can go to the previous page, just like on your browser. So if you go into the settings menu and there's no return from settings, which seems to happen a lot for some reason, that's another matter entirely. Back button works very well. I don't think, ironically, Apple, which historically has really enforced user interface guidelines on its applications on the OS X, and before that, the system, doesn't seem to do that with the iPhone. So every iPhone app seems to have its own user interface. You have to learn how to use each and every iPhone app. Android, ironically, Google has actually done a better job, I think, of encouraging people to do that. So somebody said, "Oh no, it's easy on an iPhone. You just double-click." Oh, it's Brandon, the 10-year-old. You just double-click the home button and you'll go back and go back. That's too many steps. Having a back button is a nice thing. There's many things like that. I'll give you another one. You're stuck with the keyboard on the iPhone, and I think it's a primitive keyboard compared to the keyboards available for Android. Android allows you to install any keyboard you want, so there are a lot of different, very interesting keyboard alternatives on Android. I prefer the Swift key. Many people like Swipe. Google has its own keyboard, which you can download, or you can use the one that came with the phone, or any one of a dozen other choices. And in almost every case, these keyboards are much smarter than the iPhone keyboard. But it doesn't matter. You can't replace the iPhone keyboard. I can go on and on. I just think Apple has, unfortunately, not evolved as quickly as they ought to. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with the next iPhone. However, I got to tell you, that's my opinion. Many people prefer the iPhone. In fact, the iPhone's right for many people. My kids use iPhones. They have no interest in Android. And I say, fine. Nothing wrong with that. They're adults. They can choose the phone they like. It's good. It's a legitimate question, and you have to understand that there's some things I say that are fact, some things that are subjective opinion. And, the fact is you can use alternative keyboards on an Android phone. You cannot on the iPhone without jailbreaking it. That's a fact. The opinion is I prefer these third-party keyboards to the iPhone keyboard. I don't like it, for instance, that when you press Shift Lock on an iPhone, all it does is does a little light. The iPhone's always in uppercase. All the keyboard, it's like a typewriter. The keys are always uppercase. But you know what? It's not a typewriter. On Android phones, when you're in lowercase, it's lowercase. When you're in uppercase, it's uppercase. It seems like that's a simple thing, but it seems like that's just something, I don't know. Apple is very dogmatic in its user interface strategy. They know the right way to do it, and I just think that's not the way. I think I prefer choices, but that's, again, a subjective opinion. I also like bigger screens. I think the iPhone screen is too small. I like widgets, which are little doohickeys you can put on your desktop. So you can put the weather or time or, Flipboard shows articles on your desktop. You can't do that on the iPhone. The iPhone, it's a grid of icons, and that's it. I think that I prefer more choice. That's all. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It is up to you, though, isn't it? Although I think you're crazy. There's a lot of reasons the iPhone's preferable. It's simpler, it's easier, it's cleaner. I have family members who cannot figure out how to use Android. They just can't. I mean, this is a widget. This is my calendar, right? So I don't have to enter the calendar to see what my calendar appointments are. This is a widget. These are voicemails and text messages. I can scroll through them. Oh, that's nice. The dictation is better. I love Google Now. Google Now is awesome. I mean, I can go on and on. I know how to type upper and lowercase on the iPhone. The point is the iPhone doesn't give you any feedback as to what, there's a little light on the shift key. The keys are always uppercase, and I think that's just dumb. That's a minor thing. That's not a big thing, but that's just dumb. And of course, when I use a keyboard, I use my own keyboard. So this is Swift key. So when I press the shift key, it can have lower, upper, or shift lock. Swift key also puts, let's do it again, suggestions up at the top. So I can actually type very quickly just by typing the suggestions. I am going to, and it learns, by the way, from previous messages. So apparently I often type I am going to, and then the choices have, be, or get. I haven't written a word yet. I've just accepted choices. So this is Swift key, which is fabulous. Voice dictation is far superior on Android, much more accurate. I could just go on and on. It's close to getting to be an objective truth that Android's better. Close, not completely. The battery-saving app I use normally on the HTC One is called Greenify, but you have to be root to do that. Oh, that's another thing. It's legal and encouraged to, in many cases, not all. Some manufacturers don't let you to root your phone, which gives you a lot of capabilities. The rooting's not a jailbreak. Jailbreak's built into Android. So jailbreak on an iPhone means you can buy iPhone apps from a third party, not Apple. You have to jailbreak the phone to do that. And there's all sorts of issues with jailbroken iPhones. Jailbreaking on Android means going to the settings and checking the box that says, I guess it's in applications, checking the box that says allow third-party app stores. I haven't tried Green Power. You like Green Power? Let me look at it. Oh, here's another thing I like. This I really like. You can't do this on an app on an iPhone. You really should. I can go to the Play Store on Google and search for an app. What was the app again? It was Green Power. Free battery. Huh. And now watch this. Install. It says, okay, here's a list of all your Android devices. Which one do you want to install it on? I'm going to install it on the Samsung GT, this current one. Install. And now I'll install it directly from the web. Little things like that.